Azalea had always been known as the flame of her people. She was fast, fearless, and born to fight. But today, even she could feel her strength, leaving her body like sand slipping through open fingers. The battlefield around her burned with red. Smoke and broken metal. Explosions shook the ground, but Azalea could barely hear them. Her ears rang. Her vision blurred. Warm blood ran down her arm. Azalea had been hit by a plasma spear, a weapon strong enough to kill even the toughest warriors. She tried to stand, but her legs collapsed beneath her. She felt the cold ground under her cheek. Everything was fading to black. "This is not how I die," she whispered, though her voice barely existed. But the universe did not care. Her heartbeat slowed. Her breathing cracked in her throat. She knew the truth. She had minutes left. Maybe less. Through the smoke, boots thudded toward her. At first she thought it was an enemy soldier coming to finish her. Her hand moved toward her blade, slowly, weakly, but her fingers slipped. She could not hold anything now. Then a human voice spoke. Hey, wait, are you still alive?" It was a man's voice, young but filled with fear and urgency. She felt hands turn her gently onto her back. A helmeted face looked down at her, a human soldier. She tried to push him away, but she could not even lift her hand. The man removed his helmet. His face was covered in dust, sweat, and a thin cut on his cheek. His eyes were sharp blue, wide with shock. "My name is Evan," he said quickly. "You're going to be okay. I'm getting you out." Azalea tried to speak, but her voice failed. She wanted to tell him to leave. She wanted to warn him that helping her was dangerous. Their two species were not enemies, but they were not allies either. No one was supposed to interfere in alien battles, but Evan didn't care. He lifted her onto his shoulders as if she weighed nothing. "You're not dying today," he said. Her consciousness flickered. She felt the world shaking around her as Evan ran through explosions, smoke, and falling debris. She felt herself slipping away. She wanted to tell him who she was, why she was important. But everything went dark. When she opened her eyes again, the world was white and cold. Medical lights, machines, quiet beeping. Azalea lay on a bed with her armor removed, wires attached to her skin. Humans in white suits moved around her, whispering urgently. "She's losing blood faster than we can replace it." "She's not accepting any alien transfusion. She will die in minutes if we cannot stabilize her." Azalea tried to sit up, but pain stabbed through her body like fire. She gasped. One of the doctors pushed her back gently. "Stay still," he said. "You're safe, but we are running out of time." Her eyes slowly moved across the room, and she saw Evan standing near the door, breathing hard, still covered in dust. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the lead medic said something that made Evan step forward instantly. "We need a compatible donor. But her species does not match any known alien blood type. Nothing works." Azalea felt fear. She knew this. Her people's blood was unique. Only their own kind could save them. And there were none of her kind here. Evan looked at her, then looked at the doctor. "What happens if we try human blood?" The medic froze. "Human blood? No. That's impossible. It could kill her instantly. Her body might reject it violently." "She's already dying," Evan said quietly. "What difference does it make?" The room fell silent. Azalea stared at him, confused. Why would a human risk everything for her? They barely shared a few seconds of eye contact on the battlefield. They were strangers, but Evan stepped closer. To her bedside anyway, if there's even a small chance. "Use mine," he said. The doctors argued. They warned him. They reminded him that giving blood to an alien could have unknown effects, but Evan didn't step back. "I'm doing it," he said. Minutes later, Evan sat beside her, a needle in his arm, his blood slowly moving into hers. Azalea felt the warmth. enter her veins. At first it hurt, like liquid fire burning through her. She gasped, her body shaking. "Stop the transfusion!" A doctor shouted, but before anyone could react, Azalea's body calmed. The fire changed into warmth. The warmth changed into strength. The beeping machine beside her showed her heart, stabilizing. Her wounds slowly closed. Her breathing evened. The doctor stared at the monitor. Impossible. Her body is accepting human blood. Evan watched her with relief. "Told you," he whispered. Azalea looked at him, truly looked at him, and saw something strange. A glow moved under her skin, around her heart, through her veins. Something inside her had awakened. Her voice was soft and weak, but clear. "Evan," she whispered. He froze. "Why, yes?" She didn't know why she spoke his name. She didn't even know how she knew his name. But something inside her felt connected to him, tied to him, drawn to him. Before she could understand the feeling, darkness overtook her again. But this time, she didn't feel like she was dying. She felt like something new had begun, something that should not be possible, something dangerous. When Azalea woke again, she expected pain. She expected darkness. She expected the empty, cold feeling of dying, but instead, she felt warmth, a steady, calm warmth spreading through her entire body, like soft light filling every corner of her veins. Her eyes opened slowly. The white medical lights above her looked less harsh now, as if the world had softened around her. She turned her head gently and saw Evan sleeping in a chair beside her bed. His head rested on his arm. His body slumped forward from exhaustion. His breathing was slow. He had not left her side. Azalea blinked. Something inside her chest tightened, not with fear, but with confusion. Why was he here? Why did seeing him make her heartbeat steady? A nurse noticed. She was awake and rushed. "Over. You're alive," she said with shock and relief. "We didn't think you would wake up again." Azalea tried to sit up, but her muscles trembled. The nurse helped her. Machines beeped softly behind her. "Where am I?" Azalea whispered. "In the human medical base," the nurse replied. "Your wounds were fatal. If your friend hadn't acted, you wouldn't be here." Azalea looked again at Evan. Friend. How strange the word felt. He was a stranger, a human soldier who should have had no reason to risk his life for her. But he did. The nurse continued. "Your body accepted his blood. It's still circulating through your system. It's the only reason you lived." Azalea swallowed. She felt the truth inside her. Evan's blood had changed her. It was still inside her, still warm, still connected. Before she could ask more questions, the room door opened and two scientists in white coats walked in. Both stared at her with serious, puzzled eyes. "So she's conscious," one said. "Good, we need to begin testing immediately." Azalea's instincts flared. She pulled away slightly. "Testing? Why?" The scientist tapped his tablet. "Because your body is showing impossible readings. Every time Evan leaves the room, your heart rate drops and becomes unstable." Azalea frowned. "What?" the second scientist added. "When he returns, your vitals stabilize instantly. This has happened 10 times since your surgery." Azalea looked at Evan again, still sleeping. He didn't know any of this. Why would my body react like that?" she whispered. The scientists exchanged glances. "We believe the transfusion created a biological link," the first scientist said slowly. "Your species already has advanced genetic systems. His blood may have triggered something bond-forming." Azalea stiffened. Bonds among her people were sacred, rare, nearly unbreakable. They happened naturally, never by accident. Never with another species. This should not be possible. "This is wrong," she murmured. "This should not exist." Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with something deeper. Something she didn't want to feel. A weak cough came from the chair. Evan woke up. He rubbed his eyes, then jumped to his feet when he saw Azalea awake. "You're okay," he said, relief flooding his voice. "Thank God. I thought I lost you again." Azalea stared at him. She did not know what to say. His words, his tone, the way his eyes softened. It struck her in a strange place inside. "Why are you still here?" she asked quietly. Evan froze. I didn't want to leave you alone." Her chest tightened again. She hated how warm the feeling was. A scientist stepped closer. "Azalea, we need to do a deeper scan. Your body is still changing. Something new is happening internally." Azalea's eyes narrowed. "Changing how?" But before anyone answered, an alarm beeped. The room lights shifted to red. A voice echoed through the facility speakers. "Warning. Incoming enemy ship detected. Estimated contact, 3 minutes." Evan stiffened. "They found us." Azalea felt a spike of fear, not for herself, but for the strange connection inside her chest. Something protective. Something fierce. The scientists rushed toward control panels. Soldiers ran in hallways outside. The lead doctor quickly said, "We need to move her to a safer room. She's still unstable." "But we need the scan," the scientist protested. "We still don't know what's growing inside her." Azalea froze. "Growing? What is inside me?" she asked sharply. The scientist hesitated. His mouth opened. But the alarm grew louder, cutting him off. "Move her now," a soldier shouted. Evan rushed to Azalea's side. "Can you stand?" She nodded weakly. He wrapped an arm around her waist, lifting her gently. His touch sent a strange wave of calm through her. Her heart synced to his heartbeat, like two drums trying to play the same rhythm. Her mind raced. This bond was unnatural, dangerous, impossible, and yet she leaned closer to him without realizing. They moved into a dim hallway as soldiers positioned themselves for defense. The red emergency lights flickered. Shadows danced across the walls. Azalea whispered, "Evan, what did the scientist mean?" "What is growing inside me?" Evan swallowed hard. "They didn't tell me anything, I swear." But before Azalea could respond, another doctor ran up to them with a scan tablet. "Wait. I have the early report," he said, breathless. "Azalea, your body shows signs of active reproductive energy." Azalea went cold. Evan's eyes widened. "Reproductive, what?" The doctor exhaled shakily. "Your body reacted to the human blood in an unknown way. We don't know how, but something has begun inside you." Azalea shook her head slowly. "This is impossible," she whispered. "No," the doctor corrected softly. "This is happening." The alarm blared again. Soldiers yelled orders. The enemy ship descended closer, but inside the hallway, everything went silent for Azalea. She heard only one sound, her heartbeat, but it wasn't alone. There was a second rhythm inside her. Soft, new, growing, and somehow connected to Evan too. Azalea closed her eyes as realization hit her like fire. Something inside her had awakened. Something alive. Something forbidden. Something that could change everything. The hallway lights flickered as alarms echoed through the human base. Soldiers rushed past Azalea and Evan, preparing for the enemy ship that was closing in. But Azalea barely heard the chaos. Her mind was trapped inside one terrifying thought. "There's a second heartbeat inside me." Azalea had survived impossible battles, faced deadly creatures, and fought entire armies. But nothing had ever scared her the way this new truth did. Something was growing inside her, something that should not exist. Evan kept one arm around her, steadying her on her weak legs. He didn't understand everything that was happening, but he could feel her fear like it was his own. "Azalea, stop," he said softly. "You need to breathe." She looked up at him, her eyes glowing faintly with the mark of the transfusion. "Evan, your blood did something." Something that was never meant to happen. The doctor with the tablet spoke again, breathless and panicked. Your species only reproduces through selective energy bonding. It is impossible with other species. Absolutely impossible. Then how is this happening? Evan asked. The doctor hesitated, watching his tablet screen. Your blood contains adaptive healing cells. Her body used them differently. Instead of rejecting your blood, her body merged with it. Azalea's stomach twisted. Merged? You mean? My body accepted him in a biological way, the doctor answered. Yes, and the result is, he didn't finish. A loud explosion shook the walls. Dust rained from the ceiling. Evan reacted instantly, pulling Azalea close. We have to move, now. But Azalea grabbed the doctor's wrist, her voice trembling. What is the result? Tell me. The doctor swallowed. Your body is forming a hybrid embryo. Azalea stepped back like the words had slapped her. Her hand moved to her lower abdomen, trembling. Child, she whispered. Her voice cracked. Something that had never happened in her entire warrior life. Evan stared at the doctor, shocked. But I only gave blood, that's all. The doctor shook his head. Her species has rare conditions. In extreme life or death situations, their bodies can activate ancient reproduction systems, using genetic material found in donor blood. Azalea could barely stand. This is forbidden. My people would call this abomination. Evan gently touched her shoulder. Azalea, whatever this is, we'll figure it out. But her eyes were full of fear. Fear not for herself, but for what her people would do if they discovered this. My people kill hybrids, she whispered. Always. Evan felt something inside him burn with anger. Then we protect it, he said firmly. We protect you. The doctor stepped back. There's more. The embryo is growing fast, extremely fast. It may be sentient already. Azalea's breath caught. Sentient? Impossible. Not anymore, the doctor said. Your species is powerful. Combined with human adaptability, it may create something new. Before anyone could process that, a soldier ran toward them. They've breached the outer gate. We need all civilians and non-combatants moved to Sector 7. Evan pulled Azalea with him. Come on, we're getting out of here. But Azalea suddenly stumbled and leaned against the wall, gripping her stomach. Azalea! Evan caught her before she fell. Her eyes widened in shock. I felt something, she whispered. Inside me, like a voice. A chill went down Evan's back. A voice? Like words? No, not words. A feeling. A call. She pressed a hand to her chest. It is alive, and it knows me. Another explosion shook the hallway, forcing them to move. They reached a blast door where guards stood ready to close it. Evan, get her inside. One soldier shouted. But just as they stepped through, the blast door began to slide down too early. Wait, Evan shouted. We're not all in yet. The soldier tried to stop the door, but it jammed and dropped faster. Azalea reacted. On instinct, her eyes glowed bright gold, brighter than before. She reached out with one weak hand, and the heavy steel door froze midair. Everyone stared at her in shock. Evan whispered, You couldn't do that before. No, Azalea breathed. This is not my power. She looked down at her stomach, trembling. This is coming from the child. The hybrid was already affecting her, already protecting her. Once everyone passed through, she let go. The door slammed shut behind them. Inside the safer hallway, Evan turned her gently toward him. Azalea, I know this is a lot, but we'll deal with it together. Azalea shook her head slowly. You don't understand, she whispered. My people will destroy us if they learn of this. A hybrid child is seen as a threat. They will hunt me. They will hunt you. They will hunt this child. Evan's jaw tightened. Then they can try I won't let anyone hurt you. Something soft flickered in Azalea's eyes. For a moment she forgot the chaos, the fear, the alarms. She saw only him, the human who risked everything to save her, who stayed beside her, who didn't run from her even after learning the impossible truth. But before she could speak, she felt it again. A pulse, a small, warm, gentle pulse from inside her, like a tiny hand reaching out. Evan, she whispered. It's communicating. Evan leaned closer. What is it saying? Azalea held her breath, trying to understand the emotion echoing through her. It's afraid, she whispered. Afraid of something coming. Your people? Evan asked. Azalea shook her head. No, something worse. Her eyes glowed again, but this time with fear. The child senses danger in the sky. Evan turned toward the ceiling. A deep, rumbling sound echoed through the walls. The enemy ship had arrived. Azalea grabbed Evan's hand tightly. Another instinct she didn't understand. This child should not exist, she whispered. But it wants to live. Evan squeezed her hand back. Then we fight for it. A bright explosion rocked the base again, and the lights went out. Darkness swallowed them, and the impossible child, the hybrid, pulsed again, stronger, awakening. The base shook again as another explosion hit from above. The lights flickered, and dust drifted down from the ceiling like falling ash. Soldiers shouted orders, scientists rushed to secure equipment, and alarms howled through every hallway. But Azalea didn't hear any of it clearly. All she heard was the second heartbeat inside her, fast, frightened, and glowing with a strange energy that wasn't fully hers. She held her stomach gently, her fingers shaking. This child, it knows what is happening, she whispered. Evan tightened his grip on her arm, helping her balance as they moved deeper into Sector 7, the protected underground section. We're going to keep you safe, no matter what happens up there. Azalea stopped. Her eyes turned sharp, emotionally tired, but still warrior strong. No, Evan, they are not attacking the base for me. She looked down at her abdomen. They want the child. Evan froze. Before he could respond, a group of human officers ran over to them. The commander spoke urgently. We've intercepted their transmission. The enemy ship is from the Orixan Empire, Azalea's people. Azalea's breath caught. My own people? The commander nodded. Yes, they are ordering us to hand you over immediately. Azalea felt the world tilt. Evan stepped forward. They think she's a traitor? The commander swallowed hard. No, it's worse. They said she carries something that must be destroyed before it grows. Azalea's blood went cold. Her people knew. They sensed the hybrid life inside her. And they wanted it dead. Evan's jaw tightened with anger. Over my dead body. The commander continued. We refused to hand her over. Now they're forcing their way inside. Azalea's voice trembled for the first time in her life. My people do not negotiate. Once they decide something is a threat, they erase it. A scientist ran toward them with new scans. His face was pale. Azalea, your energy levels are rising again. He showed the glowing screen, but this time, it's not because of you. What do you mean? Evan asked. The scientist zoomed in on the small bright pulse inside her. The hybrid is reacting to danger. It's empowering you. Azalea felt her hands warming again, the same golden energy from before swirling beneath her skin like living light. I can fight, she whispered. I must protect it. But Evan shook his head firmly. You're injured. You're still weak. Azalea met his eyes, glowing softly. This child is alive because of you. Because of your blood, your courage. Now we both must protect it. Suddenly, Sector 7's blast doors began to tremble. Boom, boom. Something massive was hitting them from the other side. The commander shouted, They're breaking in. Everyone prepare for close combat. Evan pulled Azalea behind a crate. He lifted his pulse rifle, ready to fight. His breath was shaky, but his eyes were steady. Azalea touched his arm. Evan. He looked at her. You should not die for me, she said softly. Evan's voice was low, almost angry. I'm not dying. I'm protecting you. Protecting our child. Azalea's heart twisted at the word our. She didn't know how to explain the strange connection forming between them, but hearing him claim the child made something inside her warm. Something deep and unfamiliar. Boom! The blast doors burst open. Orixan elite warriors stormed inside, tall, armored, and burning with blue combat energy. They moved fast, like shadows given shape. Their leader stepped forward, his mask glowing. Azalea. Of the ninth flame, the warrior said coldly. You carry Forbidden's life. Surrender the hybrid. You will be executed quickly. Azalea felt her pulse spike with fury. Evan raised his rifle. You're not touching her. The alien leader ignored Evan completely. His gaze locked on Azalea. Your death is mercy. The child's death is justice. Azalea stood straighter. Even weak, she was still a warrior. No, she said. I will not surrender. The leader tilted his head. You cannot fight. You are wounded. You are alone. But he was wrong. She wasn't alone. Evan stepped beside her, shoulders squared, rifle ready. She has me. The alien warriors snarled. A human? You dare stand beside her knowing what she carries? Yes, Evan said. And I'll die before I let you hurt her. Azalea's breath caught. Something inside her glowed brighter, pulsing in response to his voice. The hybrid child reacted. Her veins brightened. Her eyes glowed gold. Energy flowed from her palms. Like shimmering heat waves, the Orixan warriors stepped back in shock. Impossible. The hybrid. It's awakening. Azalea didn't fully understand what was happening, but she felt her strength returning in waves. Evan whispered, Azalea, your hands are glowing. I know, she breathed. The child is lending me power. With a roar, the Orixan soldiers charged. Azalea raised her hands. Instinctively, golden energy blasted forward like a shockwave, throwing several warriors backward. The ground cracked beneath the impact. Evan fired beside her, covering her blind spots. Humans joined in, blasters lighting the dark hallway. The battle turned chaotic. Metal sparks flew, alien blades clashed with human shields. Smoke filled the air. Azalea moved with surprising speed, her body guided by a strength not her own. She protected Evan, and he protected her, both fighting as if their lives were tied together, because they were at one moment. An Orixan blade swung toward Evan's neck. Azalea caught the blade with her bare glowing hand. The metal melted. She punched the warrior backward, her eyes blazing. Evan stared, stunned. Azalea, you're incredible. She didn't respond because suddenly, the hybrid pulse inside her flared painfully bright. Azalea gasped, grabbing her stomach. The child. It's afraid again. It's telling me to run. Evan guessed. No, she whispered, shaking. It's telling me something else is coming. Evan looked toward the broken doorway. A massive shadow appeared behind the smoke, taller, darker, more powerful than the other warriors, a special execution unit. Azalea's entire body tensed. They sent him, she whispered. Who? Evan asked. Azalea's voice shook for the first time in her life. The hunter of hybrids. The air grew colder the moment the tall shadow stepped through the broken doorway. Even the Orixan warriors who had been fearlessly attacking moments earlier moved aside, lowering their heads. The hallway filled with a heavy, crushing pressure like gravity itself had thickened. Azalea's breath caught in her throat. The hunter of hybrids had arrived. He was taller than any warrior present, his armor black and marked with glowing red sigils. A mask covered his face, smooth and unreadable. His presence alone silenced the battlefield. Evan whispered, Who? Is he? Azalea swallowed hard. He is the one my people send when something must be erased. He hunts Forbidden's life. He hunts hybrids, and he never fails. The hunter stepped forward, his voice deep and cold like frozen metal cracking. Azalea. Of the ninth flame, he said slowly. You carry a life that should not exist. A hybrid born from alien mistake and human contamination. You know the law. Azalea's hand instinctively covered her stomach. I know the law, she said. Voice trembling but steady. But this life is mine to protect. The hunter shook his head. The child is dangerous. Your heartbeat alone cannot control it. Already, it has changed your blood, your strength, your instincts. Evan stepped forward. Then we protect it together. The hunter didn't even look at him. Human, you are nothing in this matter. Stand aside and live. Not happening, Evan said, voice sharp with anger. The hunter continued as if Evan hadn't spoken. Azalea, your injuries made you weak. Your body is unstable. Let me end this. Azalea felt the hybrid pulse again, afraid, but not helpless. She sensed it pushing energy through her veins, glowing warm beneath her skin. Evan grabbed her hand. We face him together. Azalea shook her head lightly. No, Evan. The hunter can kill you with one strike. His power is older than your entire species. Evan didn't back down. He'll have to go through me first. Her chest tightened. She didn't understand why risking for her made Evan's eyes so bright, so determined. But she felt the hybrid react, recognizing Evan's voice, his courage, his protection. The child's energy surged again. Azalea's veins lit with golden fire. The hunter noticed. The hybrid awakens. Then I must end this now. He moved fast, too fast for human eyes. But Azalea saw it. She kicked Evan aside just as the hunter's blade sliced through the air where he had been standing. Sparks exploded against the wall. Evan hit the ground, rolling. Azalea! But she stood tall now, eyes blazing gold, her entire body humming with power. The hunter tilted his head. So the child strengthens you. Interesting. Azalea felt her pulse sink with the hybrids. She spoke through controlled breaths. You will not touch this child. The hunter lunged again. Azalea met him halfway. Their clash sent shockwaves across the hallway, throwing debris everywhere. Soldiers shielded their faces as golden and red energy collided like lightning. Evan scrambled to his feet, eyes wide with fear and awe. Azalea wasn't fighting like before. Her movements were sharper, faster, almost otherworldly. She dodged strikes that should have been impossible to dodge. She blocked blows that could crush stone. The hybrid inside her was guiding her, lending her strength beyond her training. But the hunter was still stronger. He grabbed her wrist, twisting. Azalea cried out as pain shot through her arm. The hunter lifted her off her feet and slammed her to the ground. The entire floor cracked under the impact. Evan sprinted toward her. Azalea! She pushed herself up, coughing. Stay back. But Evan refused. He fired at the hunter, bullets sparking uselessly off the armor. The hunter glanced at Evan, annoyed. Human, you are becoming a nuisance. He flicked his hand. A red shockwave blasted forward. The world slowed. Azalea felt terror explode through her. The hybrid felt it too. In a heartbeat, energy surged inside her, hot, wild. Protective, she screamed. Golden light burst from her body. The shockwave reversed mid-air and slammed back into the hunter. He slid backward, boots carving lines in the floor. Evan stared in shock. Azalea, you stopped it. Azalea's chest heaved. It wasn't me. The child protected you. The hunter stood, brushing dust from his armor. A hybrid with instinctive psychic defense. Dangerous indeed. He vanished, reappeared behind Azalea. Before she could turn, he drove an energy blade through her shoulder. She screamed. Dropping to her knees, Evan shouted her name and ran toward her again. But the hunter kicked him, sending him crashing into a wall. Azalea clutched her bleeding shoulder, pain ripping through her. She forced herself to stand, legs trembling. "You will not win," she said through clenched teeth. The hunter smiled behind his mask. "I already have." Azalea felt faint. The hybrid pulse flickered weakly. "Please," she whispered inside herself, "help me." And the child answered her. Pupils widened, glowing brighter than ever before. Her wound closed instantly as golden threads of energy wove through her skin. Her voice changed, echoing with two tones, hers and something softer beneath it. "You will not touch my child." The hunter stepped back. "So the hybrid truly merges with you? This is unacceptable." Azalea lifted both hands. A golden storm exploded outward. Winds roared. Light filled the entire hall. The hunter raised his arms to shield himself, but Azalea's energy pushed him back step by step, inch by inch. Walls cracked. The floor split. Evan barely held onto a railing to avoid being thrown away. The hunter skidded across the ground and smashed into a steel barrier. His armor flickered, damaged. Azalea collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. The golden light faded slowly. Evan rushed to her side, holding her shoulders. "Azalea, are you okay?" Her eyes softened when she saw him. "The child empowered me, but it drained me too." Evan helped her stand. "You did amazing." But Azalea shook her head. "No, this is only the beginning." She placed a hand over her stomach. "The child is growing faster. Its power is rising. The hunter won't stop. My people won't stop." Evan held her tighter. "Then we'll face it together." Azalea looked at him, really looked, and felt the hybrid pulse in agreement. For the first time, she didn't feel like a warrior fighting alone. She felt like a mother, a protector. And the awakening of the hybrid child had only just begun. Smoke filled the hallway. Sparks fell from broken lights. The hunter's armor sizzled with damaged red patterns as he pushed himself back to his feet. Azalea stood beside Evan, her breathing heavy, her body trembling. The hybrid child's energy had saved her again. But she was running out of strength. Evan held her up. "Azalea, we need to run. You can't fight him again." She shook her head weakly. "If we run, he will follow. He will never stop. My people will never stop." Her eyes turned toward the far end of the hallway, where human soldiers were trying to evacuate wounded officers and scientists. "If he reaches them, everyone dies." Evan looked at the hunter, who was slowly approaching, step by heavy step. His voice echoed through the room like thunder. "Azalea, your resistance is delaying the inevitable. Surrender yourself, and the hybrid and others may live." Evan barked out a laugh, angry and breathless. "You call that mercy?" The hunter ignored him. "Azalea, you know this is true. Your existence has become a threat to your species. And his." Azalea's hand slid over her stomach protectively. "This child is not a threat. It is a life, a future." The hunter tilted his head. "Future? It is a weapon, nothing more." Evan stepped in front of Azalea. "And you're a coward hiding behind a mask." The hunter lifted his blade. Evan raised his rifle. Azalea touched his arm gently. "Evan, I won't let you die for me." Evan didn't look away from the hunter. "You're not letting me do anything. This is my choice." Azalea's heart tightened at his words. Her chest burned with emotions she had never allowed herself to feel before. Fear, hope, connection, and something deeper. The hybrid pulse inside her flickered like it was listening, like it understood. And then it answered. A sudden wave of warmth spread through Azalea's entire body, stronger than before. Light shimmered under her skin. Her legs steadied. Her heartbeat synced with the hybrids again. "Azalea?" Evan whispered. "You're glowing again." She breathed slowly. "The child, it wants us to survive." The hunter lowered into a battle stance. That I will destroy it first. He moved fast as lightning. But Azalea moved too, even faster. Her palm shot upward, blocking his blade. Sparks exploded against her glowing skin. The hallway flashed gold. You will not touch this child. She roared. The hunter pushed harder. But Azalea held firm, her power strengthened by the hybrid. Evan fired his rifle, each shot hitting the hunter's armor. It barely slowed him, but it forced him to adjust his stance. Azalea used that moment. She struck the hunter in the chest. Boom. The impact threw him backward through a wall, metal and stone shattering around him. Human soldiers gasped. Evan whispered, shocked, you just punched him through a wall. Azalea looked at her glowing hands, breath shaky. The hybrid is getting stronger. Evan helped her move toward the broken opening. Smoke rose from the rubble. The hunter was already standing again, slower than before, but still deadly. This is not enough to stop him, Azalea said. Evan nodded grimly. Then we finish this together. The hunter stepped out of the smoke. Foolish human, she is weakening. Her body cannot sustain the hybrid's power. Azalea winced. He was right. Every burst of energy hurt more than the last. The hybrid pulsed inside her, concerned. Azalea whispered to it in her mind. Not yet. Stay with me. The hunter charged again. This time, Evan didn't stay back. He pushed a fallen metal barrier upright, using it as a shield. The hunter's blade struck the metal, sparks flying. Evan gritted his teeth, holding firm as the force threw him backward. Azalea! Now! He shouted. Azalea gathered the last of her strength. Golden energy rushed through her veins, swirling. Around her hands, the hybrid pulse grew brighter. She jumped forward and slammed her palms into the ground. A massive shockwave erupted. The floor split open with glowing cracks. The hunter staggered, losing balance. Evan was thrown back, rolling, but unharmed. The hunter steadied himself, but his armor dimmed. Azalea fell to her knees. Evan ran to her. Azalea! Stay with me. She trembled, sweat dripping down her brow. Lie, can't hold this much longer. The hybrid is powerful, but my body, it's breaking. The hunter walked toward them, slower but unstoppable. You fought well, he said coldly. But this ends now. Evan stepped in front of Azalea. Again, spreading his arms. You'll have to kill me first. Azalea tried to push him aside, but she was too weak. Evan, no. He didn't move. The hunter raised his blade. The hybrid pulse inside Azalea flared. Angry. Protective. Alive. Suddenly. Azalea screamed as her entire body lit up like a star-going supernova. A blinding sphere of gold expanded outward, swallowing the hallway in roaring light. The hunter was thrown back violently, smashing through pillar after pillar, metal twisting under the impact. His armor flickered as the light burned across it. Evan shielded Azalea with his body as the explosion shook the walls. The golden light faded slowly, leaving dust falling like snow. Azalea collapsed forward, barely conscious. Evan caught her. Azalea, wake up. Her voice was faint. The hybrid protected you. Again. Evan brushed her hair from her face. It protected you too. She shook her head weakly. No, it's draining me. I can't control it much longer. Evan held her tighter. We'll find a way, I promise. The hunter's voice echoed from the rubble, weak, strained, but still alive. This is not over. Azalea's eyes widened in fear. Evan looked up, jaw clenched. Then we finish it next time. He lifted Azalea into his arms and ran toward the evacuation tunnels as alarms blared and the base shook. Behind them, the hunter rose slowly, red energy burning through his cracked armor. The hybrid inside Azalea pulsed again, warning her. We'll return. And next time. He won't be alone. Evan ran through the collapsing corridors. Azalea held tightly in his arms as the hybrid's faint golden glow flickered beneath her skin. Dust rained from the ceiling. Alarms screamed warnings. Fires crackled behind shattered walls. Azalea's breathing was thin, barely a whisper. "Evan, the hybrid, it's weakening." "No," Evan said firmly, holding her closer. "It's protecting you. It's just tired. Just like you." Azalea tried to smile, but pain forced her eyes shut. "The hunter, he will come. He always comes." Evan's voice hardened. "Let him come. He won't touch you." But inside, Evan knew the truth. The hunter wasn't dead. And he wouldn't. Stop until Azalea and the hybrid child were destroyed. They reached the emergency escape lift. Soldiers waved him in. "Hurry! The whole upper base is falling." Evan laid Azalea down gently against the wall inside the lift as the doors closed. Her hand trembled as she touched her stomach. "Evan, the heartbeat. It's different." "What do you mean?" he asked quickly. Azalea listened, eyes widening. "Slightly. It's faster, stronger, the child. It's growing too fast." Her face went pale. "This is not normal. It should not grow like this." Evan held her hand. "You said your people have ancient abilities. Maybe this is part of that." Azalea shook her head weakly. "No, this feels like something new, something never seen before." Then suddenly, the lift stopped. The lights flickered out. Azalea's breath shivered. "He's here." Boom! A massive impact hit the roof of the lift. Evan pulled out his rifle. "Stay behind me." Azalea coughed weakly. "Evan, you cannot fight him alone." Boom! Another strike. Metal bent inward like soft clay. Boom! The roof dented deeper. Azalea's entire body glowed for a moment as the hybrid reacted, afraid. A deep, metallic voice vibrated through the lift walls. "Azalea, human, surrender. You cannot escape." The hunter, he had followed. The roof cracked. A blade pierced through the steel. Evan fired upward, but the hunter didn't slow down. His armor was cracked from the earlier battle, and his movements were uneven, but his strength was still terrifying. "Azalea," Evan whispered urgently, "when the roof opens, you run. I'll hold him back." Azalea's eyes widened in horror. "No, you'll die. You and the baby come first." Azalea grabbed his arm weakly. "Evan, please, don't leave me." He touched her cheek gently. "I'm not leaving. I'm buying us time." But before she could protest again, a sudden sharp contraction hit her. Azalea gasped loudly, collapsing onto her side. Evan's eyes went wide. "Azalea, what's happening?" She held her stomach, her voice shaking. "The child, it's coming." Evan froze. "Now? Here?" Azalea cried out again, the glow from her body intensifying gold and white, swirling like starlight. Hunter's blade sliced the remaining roof open. Evan positioned himself over Azalea. Protectively, the hunter dropped into the lift like a falling shadow. He landed with a heavy thud, towering over them, his mask turned toward Azalea's glowing body. "It is too late for her," the hunter said. "But I can still end the hybrid before it causes destruction." Evan raised his rifle. "Touch her, and I swear I'll." The hunter swatted the rifle aside like a toy. Azalea screamed again, her body shaking, her energy spiking wildly. The lift chamber glowed brighter. Evan held her. "Breathe, Azalea. Just breathe. I'm here." The hunter approached, raising his blade. "This ends." The world stopped. Azalea's body flashed with blinding golden light. The hunter froze mid-step. Stunned. The child inside her wasn't just defending anymore. It was awakening. Azalea's single quotes S. Voice layered with another tone, soft, distant, ancient. "Evan, the baby, it's ready." He held her hand tightly. "I'm right here. I won't let anything happen." Azalea's entire body arched as one final contraction shook her. The hybrid pulse exploded outward. Like a sunburst, the lift walls cracked. The metal floor glowed. Evan shielded Azalea with his arms as the golden light thundered outward. The hunter staggered back, armor sizzling, cracks spreading across his mask. Impossible. He growled. Azalea screamed one last time, and then everything went silent. No alarms. No shaking. No. Hunter's voice did just silence. Azalea collapsed weakly into Evan's arms, eyes half open. A soft, gentle cry filled the lift. Evan looked down, wrapped in a faint golden aura. Was a baby. Small, fragile, glowing faintly with human warmth and alien light. Azalea's tears fell as she whispered, "Our child." The baby opened its eyes. One eye was bright human blue, the other was shimmering Orixan gold. Evan's breath caught. A hybrid, but beautiful. Azalea touched the child's cheek. He survived. He chose to live. But the moment of peace was short. The hunter pushed himself up from the corner, limping, armor nearly destroyed. His mask hissed and flickered. His voice was dark with rage. "This abomination cannot be allowed to exist." Azalea tried to stand, but she was too weak. Evan stepped forward, baby in one arm, with the other raised in defiance. "Come any closer," he said, "and I'll make sure you never rise again." The hunter charged, but the baby's golden aura flared. Wave of psychic force blasted outward. The hunter's mask shattered. He flew back and crashed into the wall. Unconscious. Silence returned. Evan stared at the glowing infant in awe. "He protected us." Azalea nodded slowly. "He has both our strengths and something more." Evan knelt beside her, placing the newborn gently in her arms. Azalea held her child close, tears falling freely. "This child," she whispered, "is not a weapon. Not a mistake, but a new beginning." Evan smiled softly. "A new future." Azalea looked up at him, eyes warm. "And we will protect him, together." Outside, rescue teams finally forced open the lower lift doors. Light spilled into the chamber. Azalea held her child tightly as Evan guided her out. The war was not over. The hunter would return. Her people would send others, but in that moment, there was only the newborn hybrid, quiet, glowing, and unaware of the world he had already changed. Azalea whispered to him, "Welcome, little star. Your story begins today." And humanity and the Orixan Empire would never be the same again.